a world where collective peace and prosperity can only be achieved through collaboration and mutual respect.
No better time than now to inject new energy and pragmatism, Buhari tells Russian and African leaders.
And I really want to urge the media and the social media, which involves now every one of us, as gatekeepers of the public mind, to lend their platforms to advocates of peace and mutual understanding.
Vice President Oshibajo taxed media and opinion molders on peaceful coexistence. United Nations thumbs up Nigeria for international cooperation in building global future.
We need model laws that will govern the conduct of local government elections in the country.
And INEC chairman advocates financial autonomy for electoral bodies at all levels. Hello, good evening. I am Joseph Johnson and this is NTN Network News. I will be here live for 1 hour. Hinganu John Adams from Lagos and Mohammed Ibrahim in Maiduguri will also be part of it. So we are good to go. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari says there is no better time than now for the injection of new energy and pragmatism into the Africa-Russia relations as the global community is being increasingly driven by trade, technology and innovation. Addressing participants at the first ever Russia-Africa Summit in Sochi, the President, however, said such mutual benefiting relations must go beyond trade and business by addressing contemporary challenges of counter-terrorism, poverty, illicit financial flows and climate change. State House correspondent Adam Musamba reports that the summit focuses on peace, security and development.
Opening a new chapter in the relationship between Africa and Russia, the summit, according to organizers, is the starting point for building fair partnerships as the Russian Federation begins to implement what it described as positive and future-oriented agenda for Africa. As convener of the summit, President Putin said his country, which has a lot to offer the continent of Africa, is ready to engage in competition for cooperation with member countries.
We are all interested in making sure that Russian-African cooperation becomes truly systemic and comprehensive. It is important to support the framework policy of the African Union in restoring economy of countries that suffered from conflicts.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, Africa cannot thank the Russian Federation enough for many significant gestures of solidarity and support that shaped its history as a continent. He hopes to see the revitalization of this time-tested relationship by exploring new opportunities for the collective benefit of all.
Let me clearly state that the time has come with this historic summit today for Africa and the Russian Federation to develop new mutually beneficial relations. On our part, I want to assure our Russian friends that Africa is resolute and ready. We look forward to embracing the new dawn of Africa-Russia partnership in general and the revitalized Nigeria-Russia relationship in particular.
He said despite its rich human and natural resources, Africa is lagging behind in capital and technology, hence the increased conflict, migration and instability. This, he said, informed the adoption of regional integration as key development priority towards addressing prevailing challenges as well as promoting robust, equitable and inclusive growth that will minimize conflict and enhance economic development.
I want to emphasize that this mutually beneficial relationship must go beyond trade and business to address our infrastructure deficit, conflicts and terrorism, climate change, and human trafficking.
In respect of Nigeria, President Buhari wants to see the country forge a new cooperation with Russia that seeks to enhance its inclusive economic diversification agenda. Already, he said, his administration is investing aggressively in infrastructural development, while policies and programs have been introduced towards enhancing ease of doing business, reducing corruption in the public sector, and enforcing the rule of law.
today we live in a world where collective peace and prosperity can only be achieved through collaboration and mutual respect.
A political declaration on the main areas of Russia-Africa cooperation is expected to be adopted by the participating heads of state and government at the end of the summit. From Sochi, Russia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Now, to shed more light on the Africa-Russia summit, I have with me here former Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Joe Keshi. You're welcome, Ambassador, to NTA Network News.
Thank you, Joseph, for having me here again.
All right, talking about Russia-Africa summit, and it seems to be most beneficial to Nigeria, isn't it? How do you see this playing out in the long run?
Well, let's go back a little bit to history. I think what we are seeing today is that Africa has become a playground for the rich and the powerful nations that summons up to their capitals for one meeting or the other. But in terms of the Russians, they were in the 60s and 70s major players in the continent. But with the breakup of the Soviet Union, you know, their influence waned politically and economically. But with its current resurgence, assertiveness and the confidence it has now, I think it has decided to fill in the gaps where some other countries are beginning to withdraw from the continent. So you see a new Russia emerging to become a player in the region. But in terms of our own relationship, you know, we turn to the war when our traditional friends failed to help us persecute the war. And the Russians, you know, the Russian support and help in terms of providing us with arms and ammunition, particularly the aircrafts, the MiG fighters, you know, was instrumental in ending the civil war. But it kind of disappeared slightly during, you know, after the breakup of the Soviet Union. Of recent, there has been a resurgence. And that's what you are seeing now. You are seeing a new Russia, confident, assertive, and prepared to become, you know, a major player, not just around the world, but also within the African continent. So we see where this is an interesting development. But, you know, the Russians, they have a long way to go. Because when you begin to look at every parameter of development, yes, the Russians are not major players in the continent yet. But they are coming up.
Okay, so are you saying in the long run this is going to be sustainable?
It depends on us. Because, look,
Because sorry to just cut in there, because on the sidelines of the summit, President Muhammadu Buhari was able to secure Russia's commitment on a whole lot of issues, top of which are rail, transports, and all that. Do you see this?
Joseph, it's not a question of securing commitment. Let's take the Ajakuta state complex as an example. It was the same commitment that brought Ajakuta to this country. It was 90% completed. Ajakuta was our hope for industrial development in this country. And Ajakuta, I think, was completed around the 70s. I mean, it started around the 70s. But today, where is Ajakuta? It's not a question of commitments. It's a question of whether we make up our mind that some of the assistance that are beneficial to this country, whether we play our own part to make it work. That's the most important thing. It's one thing for a country to promise to assist you. You should also be ready to play your own part and make sure that it works.
Are you saying Nigeria is not ready to, you know,
no,
technically?
I'm not saying we are not ready technically. I'm only saying that when you take the Ajakuta Steel Complex as an example of the failure in our relationship.
Yes.
Look, I don't know whether you've ever been there. That's a major project that would have, you know, fast-forwarded this country into becoming an industrial, you know, nation. In fact, that was the hope when Ajakuta was being conceptualized and when they started, you know, the building. But today, 90% completed. We virtually abandoned Ajakuta. And for me, I think that the best way to, I don't know what the government is planning now, but I just think that this gives us an opportunity to say to the Russians, come take a second look at this complex and see how we can revive it, because we still need that complex if we want to become an industrialized nation.
Okay, so I have been having this idea all in my head. Recently, it does seem like advanced countries are scrambling for Africa. What is the attraction?
Remember I said at the beginning that Africa has become a playground for everybody. You know, one of the attractions could be, look, this is a very rich continent to start with. There are mineral resources in this part of the world that the rest of the world needs. For example, your cell phone and the rest of some of the items to make those cell phones work, the smartphones and the rest, you get them from Congo, DRC. So everybody recognizes the potentials of this continent. Everybody recognizes the wealth of this continent. Again, I go back to what I said. It's one thing to be rich. It's also one thing to know how to explore that wealth to the benefit of your own people. And that's where this continent has repeatedly failed itself. So it's not a question of commitment. It's not a question of you are rich. It's a question of your ability to utilize our wealth.
Okay, so
common good.
All right, so like you did state that, all right, the relationship between Russia and Nigeria did slack, you know, over the years. But now, with all this engagement the president is having with, you know, Russia now, what would you say Nigeria should, you know, do in terms of having more, you know, diplomatic moves in order to further strengthen this relationship?
I listened to the statement of the president. I think he was right in calling for a new dynamism and pragmatism, you know, in the relationship. And for me, that's signaling that Nigeria is probably prepared again to open its doors to Russia, and for us to hopefully take a second look at some of Russian interests in this country. But the major flagship, the flagship of the Russian presence in Nigeria is at Jakarta. And if we can get that to work, it will be to the mutual benefit of both countries.
All right. Thank you very much, former Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Joe Keshi. It was nice speaking with you.
Thanks to have me.
All right, let's still stay with Russia-Africa Summit, because Nigeria and Russia Thursday in Sochi, Russia signed a memorandum of understanding which will enable both countries' oil giants, that's Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and Russia's Lukoil, to elevate commercial relationship to a government-backed partnership. A statement by Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, with the signing of the MOU, NNPC and Lukoil will work together in upstream operations and revamp Nigeria's refineries. Group Managing Director of NNPC, Melekari, and Vajid Alekberov, presidents of leading Russian oil company Lukoil, signed the MOU, which entails cooperation in deep offshore exploration of oil in Nigeria, production, trading and refining. The signing ceremony, which took place on the sidelines of the Russia-Africa Summit, was witnessed by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Temipre Silva. While taking note of the agreement between NNPC and Lukoil, President Buhari gave an assurance that his administration will quote, ensure this initiative is implemented within the shortest possible time, end of quote. And President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed delight with the World Bank's 2020 Doing Business Index, DBI, which ranked Nigeria 131 out of 190 countries, up 15 places from 146th position last year. The report, which was released Thursday, also named Nigeria one of the top 10 most improved economies in the world for the second time in 3 years. Ruth Agwele reports.
A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says Nigeria is one of the only 2 African countries to make the highly prestigious list. With this year's leap, Nigeria has improved an aggregate of 39 places in the World Bank Doing Business Index since 2016. This, he says, is a testament to the reforms implemented by the present administration over the past 4 years. President Buhari notes in the statement that it is significant because this validation confirms that the strategy of his administration is yielding positive results, and it is an indication that the mandate to move the nation into the top 70 doing business destinations by 2023 remains achievable. The 2020 Doing Business Report from the World Bank, the statement adds, reaffirmed the commitment of the newly constituted Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PBEC, to making Nigeria a progressively easier place to do business without any bureaucratic constraints. In another development, the All Progressives Congress has also commended President Muhammadu Buhari's administration on the latest World Bank ranking on ease of doing business. In a statement by the National Publicity Secretary Lanre Issa Onilu, the party says it is evident that the Buhari administration is building a globally competitive economy and consolidating on the nation's status as Africa's biggest economy. The APC also welcomes bilateral agreements between President Buhari and the Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Russia-African Summit. This, he says, will strengthen Nigeria-Russia multifaceted relations, particularly in the area of abandoned projects, starting new infrastructure projects, and expanding trade and investment, security and military cooperation. Similarly, the Buhari Media Organization says over $150 billion of foreign investment garnered by Nigeria at the Russia-Africa Summit in Russia is monumental and has the potentials to lift the economy substantially. According to the group, Russia will invest huge sums of money in different sectors of the Nigerian economy, which include a $10 billion coastal rail line, which will traverse Lagos, Benin, Onitsha to Calabar in Cross River State. Another is $80 billion in nuclear energy, with 4 nuclear plants to be built in 4 regions of the nation. Other phenomenal gains, the group adds, is the investment of about $1.5 billion in the revival of the long-abandoned Ajaokuta steel project and $2 billion for military equipment. Another $2 billion will be invested in wheat production. BMO believes that President Muhammadu Buhari is leading from the front he promised, and the results are manifesting with the huge inflow of foreign direct investments. Ruth Aguela, NT News.
Let's turn our attention to other matters now. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has urged people in the media and opinion molders to inspire others to think deeply about the complexities of the Nigerian society towards promoting peace and unity. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said this at an interfaith dialogue in Abuja, organized by the Embassy of UAE to commemorate that country's month of peace. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Attacks that have been, recorded as a result of crisis in one place to other parts of Nigeria is basically based on the headlines that the media carries.
The setting is for interfaith tolerance dialogue on promoting religious tolerance and acceptance. The media, however, turned out to be the weeping child as panelists condemned the role the media have been playing by the coverage of conflicts.
I don't know what to believe. I don't know what is the truth, because anything comes out through media.
Media practitioners are product of the society, so it is a collective responsibility for all of us to re-examine ourselves and determine where we want to go.
For Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the role of the media is to promote peace and unity in the society and should be wary of those that may want to use it as a tool for division.
And I really want to urge the media and the social media, which involves now every one of us, as gatekeepers of the public mind, to lend their platforms to advocates of peace and mutual understanding. and therefore amplify our potential for harmonious coexistence.
The Vice President equally has a word for leaders on tolerance.
You need great leadership to tell people to love those who hate them, to tell people to pray for those who curse them, to respond to hate with love, and to show compassion and understanding to people of other faiths. That's what we need great leadership for. That's what we need our religious leaders to do.
Vice President Osinbajo commends the government of the United Arab Emirates and the UAE are true partners for peace. From the Yaradua International Conference Center in Abuja, Jude Onifade, NT News.
Meanwhile, Haman Jabani in this report highlights stakeholders' submissions in peace building in Nigeria using the United Arab Emirates model.
This is what this event, organized by United Arab Emirates, is championing at this forum, which brought together people from diverse backgrounds to answer some basic questions that will help resolve some challenges facing Nigeria. From clerics to technocrats, media experts to traditional rulers, it was an open and frank discussion.
Tolerance is needed in all spheres of our lives because it plays a vital role in establishing peace and love in all societies. It should be made clear that showing respect and tolerance to the opinions of others does not mean that you have to compromise your principles. God created us. It's not sometimes you cannot blame people for finding themselves in a particular religion. And if God had wanted, He would have created all of us as one. But He created us differently. The diversity itself is something we can use to an advantage.
Important for us to have such a community as it fosters development, it fosters security, and then so many other things in our society. Lack of that peaceful coexistence, of course, we know what it causes in our society.
It is believed here that dialogue such as this, if replicated at all levels and across all strata, will facilitate peaceful and harmonious coexistence and reduce to the barest minimum incidents of sectarial and communal conflicts. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
It was another busy day at the National Assembly as more and more ministries, departments and agencies defended their budgets. Details when we return. Stay with us.
Now what is it? Emeka, drive the limousine Bugatti, come inside now. Waiting below 200 naira recharge card for me.
200 naira. Just recharge 200 naira for one day, and you say fit follow win for the hundreds and hundreds of heavy prizes like a can of pepper, industrial sewing machine, grinding machine, and generator. No, my own done better.
My grinder will go win. Now here I go put up. Make that.
Hey, make una no go recharge you na glow. I don't win generator, and here now myself. Oh,
the more you recharge, the more your chance the better.
Glow Unlimited. The Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, in partnership with Brandmark Communication, presents the second Nigeria Public Sector Branding Summit and Exhibition. Theme: Shaping the Future of Public Sector Marketing and Communications in Nigeria. Speakers include Dr. Mrs. Falashade Yemiesa, Acting Head of Service of the Federation, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, Director General, National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies, A. Odibo, Chairman, DDB Lagos. Special guest, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, Honorable Minister for Information and Culture. Participants, officials of federal and state ministries, departments and agencies with responsibilities for communications, media, corporate affairs, marketing, public relations and digital engagements. Date: 28th and 29th of October 2019. Venue: Shehu Musa Yadua Center, Abuja. Time: 9 a.m. each day. For inquiries, please call 080-3314-5691. Announcer: Ijedi Iyoha, Acting Registrar, APCON.
In a country filled with different and unique kinds of people, There's no such thing as one size fits all for everything, especially sleep. That's why there's a Muka specially made for you. The Pepper Dem Gang, the Mamas, the Daddies, the Papas, the Zaddies, the baby girls, the fit fam, and the I cannot come and go and kill myself. Whoever you are, there's a Muka for you. So find your Muka today and wake up feeling good and ready to take on the day. Visit www.muka.com.
The Corporate Affairs Commission Training School invites companies' directors and secretaries to a one-day training on the role of company secretaries and directors, compliance requirements. The training seeks to build capacity of companies' executives, secretaries, directors, registrars, compliance officers, and lawyers. Date, 19th November 2019. Venue, CAC Training School, Plot 565, Ndola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, FCT, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Registration fee, 150,000 per participant. Payment can be made through remitter to CAC TSA account number 022202600100. Receipt should be forwarded to email trainingschool@cac.gov.ng. For further inquiries and details, contact Dominic 0802-328-0254 or Dr. Femi 0803-578-8972. CAC, committed to prompt and efficient service.
Everybody dance now. We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us. So
Let molten goodness fuel your greatness. Let's go.
From our wonderful family, meet our active triplets. Mixology, for example, mixes well with drinks. Then enjoy every quick meal with Slurp It Off. And everywhere you go, there is Go-Gurt. Packed with healthy nutrition, nourishing vitamins, power of protein, strength of calcium, revitalizing energy, Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. Hollandia yogurt, it's all good.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Na the only way we fit take hala you o. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don't finish.
Thank you. I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's now why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, anytime for my phone is that why? Because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it, love it.
Now look me again, no. Make you go do your own.
About to witness the commencement of the most stimulating and compelling contest on television. This contest is only for the strong, the intelligent, and the talented. Get ready for the Unity Challenge reality TV show. Coming soon.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says sustaining Nigeria's cultural values remains a key panacea to most of the problems confronting the country, occasioned by moral decadence. The minister said this in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, at the maiden edition of the Nigeria Ajib Oil Company joint venture program for its host community. Anthony Forson reports.
The minister said his vision is to see a cultural renaissance in the country because of its ability to restore moral values, which is capable of solving many of the problems Nigeria faces today in the areas of insecurity, restiveness, and loss of moral values.
Giving the people of the host communities the opportunity to showcase their cultural heritage is a sure way to reconnect them to their roots, and this in turn helps to restore their moral values and self-worth, a sure recipe for avoiding antisocial activities and criminal tendencies.
He noted that giving host communities a sense of belonging will help strengthen intercommunal relationships as well as company and community relations, noting that the federal government is equally tapping into the huge potentials in the tourism and culture sector to diversify the nation's economy. The General Manager District Nigeria Ajib Oil, Alessandro Tiani, said the company recognizes that the communities are unique by their culture, which is key to identity, oneness, integration, and growth.
Let me use this event to sue for peace and continuous dialogue so as to create mutually beneficial opportunities for the company and its stakeholders. Because as a company, we believe that continuous engagement is a cardinal pillar for sustainable development.
So far, 38 farmers in the 4 states have been empowered within the last 33 years with road projects, water, cottage hospitals, electricity provided. In Port Harcourt, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Electoral bodies, both at national and state levels, will perform better if the laws are remodeled to meet up contemporary challenges and financial autonomy. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, stated this during a meeting with the Forum of State Electoral Commissions in Abuja.
I know that in many states they have their regulations and guidelines, but we need model laws that will govern the conduct of local government elections in the country that draw to a considerable extent from the national electoral legal framework. The second issue that we need to talk together is the independence of the electoral commissions cannot be guaranteed where there is no financial independence. So whatever we can do to work together with you to ensure financial independence for the electoral commissions, that will enormously help the conduct of elections.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu there. Let's talk legislative matters. The Ministry of Finance is to spend 361 million naira for the Project Lighthouse in the 2020 fiscal year. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed, while defending the ministry's 2020 budget before the Senate Committee on Works, explained that the project will be a source of revenue and tax-related intelligence for government. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed arrived in the National Assembly for a budget defense session with the Senate Committee on Finance. At the committee room, she presented the performance of 2019 budget of the ministry and then defended that of 2020. The Project Lighthouse is one of the new projects penciled down for implementation by the ministry, as it will also carry out digitization of the functions of the core ministry at the cost of 190.5 million naira.
This year we launched Project Lighthouse, which is a digital portal that is warehousing data from several agencies that is enabling us to support the FIRS, the states, and any agency of government that wants information on taxpayers.
We are looking at the opportunity of even auditing the states and all the local government to look at the amount deducted as VAT and other if they are eventually remitted.
Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola defended the ministry's 2020 budget of 287.1 billion naira before the National Assembly Joint Committees on Works. He explained that the ministry will focus on completion of roads and bridges, especially those on routes A1 and A9 that lead to ports and major agricultural hubs across the 6 geopolitical zones.
We thought that it was necessary to intervene in the education sector of the country, and to date we have 48 road projects at various stages of completion inside universities. Perhaps our country today is the only country where roads are being built by government, maintained by government, without any tolls being collected.
Minister of Communications and Digital Economy Ali Issa Pantami defended the ministry's budget of 6.1 billion naira before the National Assembly Joint Committees on Communications, Information Communication Technology and Cyber Crimes. The committee felt that the 2 billion naira proposed as the ministry's revenue is below expectation, but he gave explanations.
The revenue generation and the levy will automatically go to the parastatals under the ministry, not the supervising ministry.
Budget scrutiny continued with the Senate Committee on Public Procurement, where the management of Bureau of Public Procurement, led by its Director General, Maman Amadou, explained that the agency plans to carry out a procurement audit of ministries, departments and agencies in 2020 with the sum of 100 million naira. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTA News.
The renewed partnership between the Parliament and security agencies is energizing their shared objective of bringing to an end security challenges in some parts of the country. This much was confirmed during the annual budget defense as both sides affirmed commitment to facilitating provision and deployment of needed logistics for security operations. National Assembly correspondent Lamieli reports.
The budget defense was used to hold open secret consultations on security issues, which the Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila says is of priority to the federal government.
That it is in the front burner, it is priority for us. For the first time in the history of, I think, the House of Representatives, we have the issue of the armed forces and on the legislative agenda.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishakin, Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, and Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, while defending their 2020 estimates before the House of Representatives Committee on Defense, Army and Air Force respectively, were appreciative of appropriations by the National Assembly for security, which have enabled the execution of operations aimed at curbing security breaches and acquisition of state-of-the-art military hardware.
The area of cyber, that is also something that we are hopeful that with the support of the House, that agency, that administration, Defense Space Administration, will be given the necessary boost.
I'm very grateful to the President and of course you members of the National Assembly and this committee in particular for your understanding that the welfare and remuneration of armed forces of Nigeria needs improvement so as to enhance our capacity to create the much needed environment for peace and security.
Very soon our officers and men will move into Pakistan for training while the production of the aircraft is ongoing.
Chairmen of the various committees restated renewed vigor to give necessary support for success.
We want to ensure that you get the fleet and inventory that you are entitled to.
You have repaired a lot of insurgents and what have you. Nigerians still expect more from you, and that is why whatever we do, they will work together to ensure that this thing is portable. We'll give you our best.
I wish to seize this opportunity to commend Chief of Air Staff and indeed all the officers of Nigerian Air Force for the good work they have done and are still doing to curtail the nagging security challenges in this country.
In another development, the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, briefed the House Committee on Finance on the ministry's performance in 2019 and projections for 2020 during the ministry's budget defense. Similarly, Minister of Health Osage Hanire had an engagement with the House of Representatives Committee on Diaspora, during which he informed members of plans to tackle medical tourism and brain drain.
Collaboration is a connection of our Nigerians in diaspora, professionals in diaspora, with our own service departments here, the federal medical centers and the teaching hospitals, so that there is not only an exchange of technical ideas, but also administrative service delivery experience.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In a bid to improve the living condition of its people through developmental projects, Yobe State government has signed a memorandum of understanding signed with the Qatar Charitable Foundation. Fatima Umar Buba reports.
With that, a new partnership is sealed between Yobe State, one of the states ravaged by insurgency in the northeastern part of the country, and Qatar Charitable Foundation to support education, water supply, healthcare services in the state.
I want to assure you that we have provided for all the lands for all these projects, and our states will partner with you to ensure that these projects are being carried out successfully and to the benefit of our people.
The Executive Director, Qatar Charitable Foundation, Hamdi El Sayed Abdul, gave insights on the gesture and reasons why Yobe State is among the 17 states now chosen to benefit from the foundation.
We try to go the state it has problem to try solve this problem.
The foundation's intervention is expected to bring succor to the people. Fatima Umar Buba, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria has handed over the Abuja UN building to the authorities after it has been rebuilt and refurnished at the occasion of the 2019 UN Day, and this excites the global body, as Justin Bemoye reports.
These are pictures of Friday, 26 August 2011 at the UN House, Abuja. It was a dark day for the United Nations after a terrorist attack took lives and injured many. It's now 8 years down the line, and the Nigerian government is reopening the rebuilt building, which the United Nations describes as a show of unflinching commitment to multilateralism.
Thank you, Nigeria, for providing such a beautiful house for the UN's home here. So today's reopening of the UN House demonstrates our collective commitment to continue addressing the complex challenges facing Nigeria, West Africa and the whole world. And today we renew our pledge.
I assure you that the government of Nigeria is committed to the security of life and property of all the staff of the UN, their families and the institutions of the United Nations in Nigeria.
The United Nations say it is committed with increased determination to support government and people of Nigeria to achieve their aspirations, which are captured in Agenda 2030 and its sustainable development goals.
Nigeria has the human and material resources available to drive this movement towards building a better country if we all work together.
The theme for the day celebration is a future we want, the UN we need. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Let's just bring you more reports now with Hingino in our Lagos Network Center. Hingino.
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. We begin with transport. The directive by the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, to the contractor handling the Lagos-Ibadan Railway project to increase the pace of work on the Lagos end of the project is being adhered to. Dotun Oguyemi, who monitored the ongoing construction work, reports that significant improvement has been made.
Section 1 of the project covers the distance of 43 kilometers from Ebutemeta to Iju. Having moved a higher percentage of its entire workforce to this section, the contractor and his team are working day and night and, where possible, recruiting more hands to deliver the project as now stipulated. Everywhere you turn along the project sites, there are men at work. This is Mushin, one of the communities where the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line connects. The scope of work that is being done by the construction company is ensuring that they discover water channels and build culverts like this along this corridor. And so far, 3 have been built from Yaba to this point. Aside Mushin, other locations visited include Oshodi, Yaba, Ilupeju, Ladipo and Agege, where the scope of work differs.
We remain committed, to the yarn of the federal government of Nigeria, especially on the aspect of getting Apapa Port connected by rail via this standard gauge project. We are reassuring Nigerians' populace, especially the Lagosians, that this project is going to affect their life positively.
Despite the rains and other challenges, such as impediments like this, gas and water pipelines on the project's right-of-way, the contractor is building concrete protections. As the completion date draws near for the Lagos-Ibadan Railway project, the expectation of the people is high that socio-economic development will be accelerated. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
And now to digitization. How Nigeria can harness the economic benefits of digitization was the fulcrum of the 18th Annual General Meeting and 72nd General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria in Lagos. Sa'a Ibrahim also emerged the newborn chairman at the conference. The world is no doubt in a digital era, and the broadcast industry is having its share of technological advancement. To keep abreast of the trend, Nigeria began its journey of transition from analog to digital broadcasting around 2007.
The delay in bringing out a firm roadmap and releasing a firm timetable for the analog switch off of states already switched on and those that are to be switched on is something that is very critical.
But 12 years into the journey, key players in the broadcast industry are making further efforts at ensuring the country successfully switches over to digital broadcasting. This gathering, under the auspices of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, is part of such strategies.
The federal government acknowledges that the DSO project is in a critical situation and has approved the release of funds in tranches of 15 billion.
I am now more than ever before convinced that we will also become the capital of television in Africa within the next few years if we execute our DSO as planned.
It's therefore important to encourage achieving youths to fully engage in the business of content provision, creation, taking into account our very rich cultural diversity.
The consensus at this forum is that digitization, apart from other numerous benefits, will empower individuals economically as well as improve the nation's GDP. That's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this timeout. Please stay tuned.
Is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Oh! The opponent is down! Amatem Soft Gel, a good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Now it's time to sow a seed of faith. Hello? What's your number?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't give you my number.
Come on, just put it in.
Make and receive payments with just phone number with Pay Attitude. To get started, dial *569# or download the Pay Attitude app.
Pay Attitude. Sorry.
There you go.
You cannot be flirting in the house of the Lord. Repent.
Pay Attitude. Be all of you.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence.
So let's silence toothache before it starts. With Oral-B all-round protection, its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
Darling, what's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet and powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available in syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceutical and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to...
Just now, don't waka. No panic. There's me no panic. You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Yeah, press OK.
Wow, now you fit catch all those channels with the one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your groove for no loss. You see as I do, Abi? And I see as I do,
Go TV, live it, love it.
And I see as we do,
Maiduguri is where we go next.
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Government has convened a 2-day retreat for members of the State Executive Council and other political office holders to brainstorm on how to move the state forward. The choice of Damasak, headquarters of Mobile local government in northern Borno, once occupied by the insurgents as their caliphate, was to bring the office holders face to face with realities on ground and to remind them that their appointments were not for luxury. Mohamed Goni reports.
The retreat was an avenue for members of the State Executive Council to reaffirm their purposes of holding public trust and rededicate themselves to serve the people of Borno State, and is expected to not only come up with achievable ideas, but design a time frame within which the State Executive Council achieved its set target. Governor Babagana Umara charged members of the State Executive Council, appointees and top government functionaries to make contributions driven by realities in Damasak and all communities in Borno affected by the decade-long security challenges.
Major issues that were discussed are among that of operational procedure in the council, synergy between ministries, and how we can work together for the betterment of the people of Borno State.
Secretary to the State Government, Usman Jideshua, said the current political disposition and the leadership style require a serious reorientation of public office holders if they are to effectively contribute to putting the state on the path of development.
This is the first time the State Executive Council retreat is being held outside the state capital.
And the reason for choosing Damasak, the headquarters of Mabara local government, according to Professor Babagana Umara, the Borno State governor, is to, among other things, to enable those in the position of authority to appreciate and feel the plight of the people of the area. And at the same time, appreciate the magnitude of challenges brought about by the Boko Haram insurgency to the people of the area. From Damasak, the headquarters of Mabara local government, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
Community-based targeting principles and practice to help humanitarian aid workers identify the poor and vulnerable for data capturing is still in progress across Borno State. Towards achieving success of the program, the Youth Empowerment and Social Support Operation YESO, in collaboration with Borno State government and other development partners, have organized training which drew participants from 27 local government areas of the state. Paul Nkujevana reports.
A decade of insurgency in the northeast has further worked in Borno State, bringing about displacement of millions. It is against this background that Youth Empowerment and Social Support Operation YESO initiated this program in line with state policy and funded by World Bank to provide social safety services to IDPs and other vulnerable members of the society towards eradicating poverty.
Stakeholders, including those at the federal level and even at the World Bank, to make sure that this program is sustained and that efforts are doubled from all ends.
We are also able to register about 103,000 households on our unified register of beneficiaries.
Executive Director, Action Initiative for Peace and Development, AIPD, Mohamed Ibrahim, stressed the sincerity, genuineness, and commitment of his organization in terms of service delivery. In Maiduguri, Paul Nkujevana, NTA News.
That's our contribution from this end. Network News continues in Abuja.
Thank you. Beneficiaries of Dangote Micro Grant Scheme in Sokoto have been advised to take advantage of the scheme to set up fruitful micro ventures. The chairman of Aliko Dangote Foundation, Aliko Dangote, stated this while flagging off the scheme in Sokoto. Musa Abubakar reports.
Selling fried yam, potatoes and egg is what Sadia for a living. Like many women in Sokoto, she said she could not expand her business because of capital. But this is about to change with the flag off of Dangote Micro Grant Scheme. The scheme, which is designed to empower women with unconditional micro grant of 10,000 naira to expand or start a business, is aimed at promoting wealth creation as well as alleviate the sufferings of the poor and vulnerable.
This 10 billion naira program was launched some few years ago and is being systematically rolled out nationwide to reach 1,000 vulnerable women in each of our 774 local governments in Nigeria.
We realized, you know what, once you empower a woman, you're empowering a whole nation. So we decided our empowerment program will now focus on women.
Can't thank you enough, Aliko Dangote and your foundation, for not only this support that you are giving to the needy today, but for your continued collaboration with the government of Sokoto State.
About 23,000 women and more than 900 internally displaced persons in Sokoto are expected to benefit from the program. For Sadia Aminu and others, the gesture is a boost to their business.
They grant me this money, I will buy some things in the market, put for my store and be selling for the people.
The scheme targets to cover more than 700 local government areas of the country. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The family of Osita Okechukwu, Director General, Voice of Nigeria, announces the burial arrangements for his wife, Tina Okechukwu, who died at the age of 57. Funeral wake takes place in Amankwo, Eke, Enugu State, tomorrow, Friday, 25th October at 5 p.m. On Saturday, 26th October, a requiem mass will take place at St. Paul's Catholic Church, Eke, to be followed by interment at Osita Okechukwu's compound, Amankwo, Eke. A Thanksgiving mass will hold on Sunday at St. Paul's Catholic Church, Eke. And that's the news for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Joseph Johnson. Good night.